Hello, hello, hello. Hey guys, what is up? This is Livy Ego coming live from London. If you guys are watching me on a replay, drop me a hashtag style. But generally now this is on YouTube, so I'm on autopilot. But hello, 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 everyone. So excited to have you guys. We were supposed to be on Insta, but social media has decided and Instagram has decided that it wasn't the place to be. So I guess we are here. So if you guys are watching, do drop us a hashtag style. If you guys don't know how the multicultural, multi-ethnic to brand on social media and to earn, but today we're going to be talking about 5 different ways to weaponize your confidence, which I'm super excited to have today. Camilla Collins, who is going to be, I met her at the Speaker Summit, Success Speaker Summit. Was that it? Or is I'm just remixing it?
There's no success in it, but I love it.
It's just the flow of the Success Summit. I'm like, wait. We were...
I met you. You were successful.
we're very successful in our game. So we met there briefly. I mean, it's so funny because I actually saw you beforehand when we started the event, but I was like, oh, I got to connect with you, but never did until you came towards the end of the event. So yeah. We're going to be talking about different ways. What I love about Camilla is that she's in the hair and beauty industry. And we were talking about, she has a book and she also has an event. So I'll put all the links in the show notes of where you can find it, where you can buy the book, where you can get all the juiciness. But it's interesting because as Camilla is going to redo her intro again, but it does not matter because you guys weren't there on the Instagram. It's probably like, I'm watching this like a few months later. What were they going on? But we had an issue with social media. But you were saying going from TV industry to also going down to weddings to making it more personal, transformational, because I've also been in the fashion industry where it's just like model, she just tries the pieces and that's it, to you wanting to be a bit more into, I want to be part of your transformation. I want to be part of that whole change. And I love that you do that because it just shows so much more of what you showcase on social media, which is the transformation and being a speaker and giving from another level. But yeah, tell us about, because now you have your book also that's out. Love to see that book, and also tell us like who you are, what you do, and what is. There's a couple events that you have. October in Bath. Is that correct? You have an event.
Yeah.
Tell us all.
Okay. Oh God, right. I'm gonna try and get this quick at this time. But hey guys, hey folks, awesome to be here, and thanks for watching and tuning in if you are, or maybe listening. So yeah, my name is Camilla. I live in Wiltshire now, not always though. I'm actually a London girl. I was born and bred in London, and I made my great escape last February with my 2 crazy cocker spaniels, who've just been on a massive walk to let off some steam so we can have like, hopefully, a quiet, uninterrupted session. Although technically it was the tech that let us down this time and interrupted our flow. But hey. So I relocated from London. And yeah, I'm back and forth. I'm sort of here, there, and everywhere anyway. So my heart's in events, and a lot of my work is in events. So I have CJC Hair and Makeup, which is my longest standing agency. We do a lot of weddings, but we also do some corporates as well. So we do like headshots, maybe internal filming for companies. Sometimes that's just powdering men and just making sure they look sort of camera ready. And on the wedding side, obviously, we're making brides and their bridal parties look beautiful and feel fabulous for the big day. And I've got another agency as well, Glitter and Glow, which is the fun stuff. It's like festival glitter, UV painting, a bit of nostalgia. We kind of started with bar and bat mitzvahs, but we do a lot of like corporate work now. We're doing a lot of festivals, so we're in festival season and busy with that at the moment. So yeah, all the fun stuff. But I trained in TV, film, and theatre hair and makeup initially, so I can do prosthetics, special effects, or all the zombie stuff. So Halloween was very busy for us. We don't do so much around that work, but we did a lot with hospitality then. So yeah, those are my agencies. But I still run those. I still take on the odd clients. I've got like 2 weddings this year, but I generally kind of oversee the work. And that's freed up my time and my energy to focus on, I guess, something that feels more purposeful for me, something that I'm more passionate about. And that is the transformation within people rather than the external one. And don't get me wrong, makeup is awesome. It's a great tool. It's a great confidence like hack, if you will, so long as we're using it as a tool and not a crutch. And I love what makeup can do. And, you know, it's a really, really great thing. But as I get older, I just felt like I really wanted to make a bigger impact on people's lives. And to be honest with you, I've kind of been coaching all along, really. The conversations that took place in my makeup chair, I realized very early on, were like 90% the thing or the work that actually made people feel beautiful, feel confident, feel amazing about themselves. And so the makeup is really just kind of the icing on the cake. And I'm sure, when you've gone somewhere really, really nice and you've got high expectations, if you have a bad experience, like the whole thing turns to shit. So, it's the same thing. And those conversations are massively important. So it's not been a massive jump necessarily for me, but it all started in 2018 when I was feeling a bit unsettled with what I was doing. I didn't know if it was a me problem, if it was a work problem. And I think, it comes back to that purpose piece and that passion piece, and then me feeling like I was meant for more and I was meant to do more and I can do more. And so that's when I decided to write my book, which I didn't have on the IG Live, and I run off again. It's just here. Here it is. So yeah, no filter needed, with a tagline of kicking unobtainable standards to the curb and reimagining the power within yourself. And that's what I'm super, super passionate about, because now more than ever, we are, our insecurities are constantly being played upon by the marketers. We have these phones on our face in our phones like all the time. We're on screens as well a lot for work. So social media, yes, it's rife. You've got influencers, you've got lots of ads and things, but also just kind of digital media that we're viewing. The marketers are at play and we don't even realize it. And then they get really, really clever. And obviously with the rise in AI and all of that, it's just getting really smart. So I just wanted to write a book to help people get back to themselves and out the tactics of the beauty industry, which can be applied to every industry really, because marketing, in order for us to make a purchase, we need to feel lack. We need to want the thing. So, that's what the beauty industry is doing all the time. And part of me as well, in terms of my career in makeup, I really noticed that the more articles that I was being asked to write, they were constantly asking products, and it used to be more about the makeup and the transformation and the tools, but it was like, oh, well, can you give us product recommendations, because you want to push products on people. I was like, do we have to do that? And I was like, I don't really want to be a part of this anymore. So yeah, we've got a beauty bullshit busting section in the book, which outs the marketing tactics of the beauty industry. But really it starts at looking how we have used changing our appearance to solicit power and status in some way. We've all been doing that for thousands of years. So it's nothing new, but it really guides the reader back to harnessing their true selves, their authenticity and their own potential, and really recognizing that. And because that's the stuff that gives you the unwavering confidence. No one can take that away from you. You can always build that within yourself. So that's what I'm super passionate about, helping clients with, through whether it's one-to-one coaching work, although I do a lot more kind of group work now in speaking and workshops as well. And as you just mentioned, Olivia, I do indeed have a really exciting event coming up in October, which is in Bath. And yeah, it's for women only, which is not something I've done before. And it's and also, because on the coaching side, I have been working with a lot of men recently. As well. So yeah, I'm just really, really excited about it. And I know when you get a group of women together and you create that safe space, like just magic happens. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it now. But
yeah, I can see it in your face and in your energy. Like it overrides and overrules everything. And I think the best marketer is the person that speaks from a place of truth and speaks from a place of how you felt and also experience, which I'm sure I can't wait to get also your book and go and dive deep through it. But it's being part of somebody's transformation has so much value. And you must see so much stuff like in the beauty industry lately, how everything is altered and it's not us anymore. It's something else that we call beauty. And that's why, the hacks of, the 5 ways of weaponized like confidence, how to build that within is really what I wanted to talk about today, because you can still be the best version of you and still be authentic with little to no makeup and we're not saying that, should wear a ton of makeup, that really depending on you, but confidence is what you have within. It's an energy. It's a thing that you have, that you style and you build within you through the experience. So I want to go over a couple of the ones that we said that we were going to talk about. And I know we said 5. There's probably more that we can tell you guys that we could ask. But if you guys resonate with any of this and you're watching this, do tell us in the comments below. We'd love to know. Maybe there's things that you guys want to say, or, you want to slide into our DMs and share. We would absolutely love. I know some don't want to necessarily share online, but if you do feel called, it would be great just to see, so we can have some feedback if this like resonates, or if it's like, I had this motion or this something or whatever. But the first thing that we talked about was the self-care activities in a routine. And my question to you is, and you also said that would be part of in your book, but what is self-care activities if we bring it down? Like, what does that mean? Because that means like self-care means like routine, means, it's military, when it's actually not. What is that to you?
Do you know what? I think self-care, well, I know self-care is different for all of us. And what might be a self-care activity for me may not be a self-care activity to you. And just actually recently in a workshop, I always share like some my stuff when I go through like examples of my own. And so this is a ridiculous one, but an actual self-care activity for me at the time was eating my dinner on a plate with a knife and fork. And the reason being is I live alone. I cook up stuff. I'm on the go. Like, I don't need to sit and eat. Like, and I do like to graze and picking. But so I always say it's the intention behind the activity that you do that makes it a self-care activity. It's the intention and energy that you put behind it. And so preparing a nice meal on a plate with a knife and fork, like there's a whole ritual there. And you know what? I'm carving that time out for me, and I'm not putting everything else before it, if that makes sense. So that's just a random example of mine. But again, when I talk about, intention behind something, you might have a bath every night, but do you put bubble bath in, and do you light some candles? That suddenly changed is a normal activity into just a bit of self-care. And the more that we do that, the more, we tell ourselves we are special and we are worth it. And it's really important that we do that for ourselves, and we send those messages to ourselves, because life is busy for all of us. And we all have demands. Like, I think everybody's jobs are demanding, or careers or businesses are demanding. And then you've got family and you've got friends, and you want to be a good friend and a good sister or a brother or a father or a mother, whatever. Absolutely, that's really, really important, and that makes you feel good as well to help others. But if you're constantly putting everyone and everything else before you, then you send a really clear message to yourself. And that is that everyone and everything else is more important than you are. And the reason that's important in confidence is because you can't be confident in that. You're saying, I don't deserve this. Like, that's not what a confident person does. So it's really important just to carve out that little bit of time and just show yourself some love.
Yeah. I love that. Even when you said with, your knife and fork, because I will have a plate and I will literally eat with my hands. And I'm like, I'll watch, something that's stimulating my brain, instead of just like, can I bless the food and just eat in the moment and maybe jolt down some ideas, which I didn't think was what, but like my mind is always busy. Like, I want to, and sometimes I just get exhausted because my brain just loves being stimulated, but not stimulated. I love learning new things, but there comes a saturation where I can't learn no more. And so it's just way too much. So I love that you say the intention of the energy, the intention of just being in the moment, and being present. Like, for you, maybe the bubble bath is perfect. For me, it's CrossFit. Now, probably some people are like, are you insane? Why would you do CrossFit, which is a military workout? Are you okay? But I like it. It excites me. You're not going to see me doing Pilates, nor are you going to see me meditate. Like, it's not my thing. Now, it's things that what make you joy. And I think that's also what you pointed out, in terms of like your self-care. And when you say routine, what does routine look like for you? Like, is it something that you would do every day? Because people say, oh yeah, I'll start something, I'll start the gym, but then I'll, haven't been back at the gym. What is your core value of routine? What does that mean to you?
Well, firstly, I totally get the CrossFit thing. I don't do CrossFit, but I'm a gym. So I competed as well bodybuilding a couple of years ago. So and that's like ingrained as a lifestyle thing as well. But that stops working after a while. But gym's massively important because I know how good it makes me feel, and how much good it does to my body. And even lifting weights as well. I'm always trying to encourage women to lift weights because I don't want to get bulky. It's the classic, and it's like it's not going to happen. But it's just it's so good for when you're older, particularly like training legs as well. Our legs have got to carry us like through our whole lives, and so building that muscle is really, really important. But anyway, I digress. So on the routine, routines often work for a while and then they stop working. And I think the biggest mistake is we then carry on pushing on with this routine. Like, why isn't it working anymore? And then, getting stressed out about it. And I think it's really important to switch up your routine, particularly with the seasons, because how we feel in the summer is very different to how we feel in the winter. The weather's different depending on like outdoors kind of things, what time we wake up as well, what time we're going to bed, our diet, like lots of things kind of change. So I'll give you sort of an example of how, I would change things with the seasons is in the morning, in the winter, I like my exercise, but I don't like the cold. So I don't want to go running. I don't be outdoors. In the summer, I'm like, I just cannot wait to get out. So in the winter, like I know it's really important for me to set up my day to, get myself in a calm place. So not looking at the phone first thing in the morning is number one, and just gathering my thoughts. And I have so much clarity in the morning, and I think we all do because we've got this kind of fresh head. Sometimes stuff carries over from the day before. If we're going through quite a tricky period in life, be it work thing or home thing, sometimes we can wake up feeling knackered in the morning and stuff carrying over. But, hopefully we have this kind of fresh perspective in the morning, and that's the perfect time to just really kind of process some of our thoughts, kind of plan out our day. And in the winter, like I spend my time journaling and writing things down. I might do it from bed normally because I'm too cold to get out of it. But in the summer, the last thing I want to do is wake up and sit there sort of journaling, a bit like you, Olivia. I'm like, I want to get out. I want to go. I want to, just go for a run, take my pre-workout, like do my thing, go to the gym. So, I switch up my routine, and in which case, I may do a bit of kind of journaling, but actually instead what I do is walk. And the pacing kind of really helps me to sort of just process things that are going on and have a think again, not looking at my phone. I have one dog, actually he's better now, but he likes to go missing. So both the dogs have got trackers on, which means I need to go out with my phone in case I need to call them back. But generally just not looking at my phone, and just, processing kind of what's going on in my head, what's going on in the world, just how I feel about things.
I love that you say like you alter depending on the season, which is important. I think sometimes we think that we should only just do one activity and stick to that, when depending on the season, like, you don't necessarily jolt down your ideas of your vision in December. You do it in spring, because December, everything's dark. So there's no point talking about new year, new me. The new me comes in like the springtime. So, analyzing when you should flow in that, like maybe not going so hard at workout in the evening, in like in winter, maybe, or stretching, activities on that, which brings me to the second point that we wanted to talk about, which was makeup, because I know that also, correct me if I'm wrong, may resonate with some people, may not, but I still believe that makeup routine, skincare routine, or still requires to understand maybe what season you're in, because you tend to wear a certain type of makeup that's a little bit more stronger in winter and summer. Is that correct? Like you're not going to wear harsh products in summer because it's so hot, so you're going to go lighter, right? So lost in thought in this one, but I was on a tangent. I wrote my notes, but clearly I cannot remember. I got a scroll moment. But makeup routine out of that, like maybe makeup routine and skincare routine to build that confidence. How is that for you? Why is it so important?
There's actually a line in the book that I say, you know, sometimes when you put like a swipe of lipstick on, you know, it can suddenly just like fire you up, right? And you're just like, cool, bam, I'm ready to go. And it's the same with, and I've also written this in the book, probably the next sentence is, you know, I like going for workouts. I'm better in the morning because I've got energy and I'm like, boom, go. In the afternoon, I start talking myself out of it about 3 p.m. if I'd arranged to go at 7, 8. So which is why I get it done in the morning. Yeah. It's very common. Although some people I don't like training with a load of food in me either. I prefer to, if it's cardio stomach, if I'm weight training, I'll always make sure I've got some protein. But again, another conversation. But I could be sitting on the couch being like, oh my God, I'm just not in the mood. And then I bring myself to put my gym wear on. And as soon as I'm in my gym wear, I'm like, boom, let's go. And it's like a uniform, isn't it? And I think makeup's the same thing. And that's why I think makeup is a really great tool. I am not bashing makeup in any way. And, you know, talking about rituals, it can be a really nice ritual as well, because it makes you feel good to put it on. It's a great kind of preparation thing for something that you need to do that you maybe you're not feeling too confident about.
Yes.
So if you can create this nice little ritual around your makeup, then that really helps as well to kind of boost your confidence to do the thing, whatever the thing is. And the thing is, anything new makes us, we're not confident at it. How could we be? You know, it's new. We haven't done it before, or we're, you know, in the early stages. But the more we do that thing, the more comfortable we become with it and the more confident we become with it. So it's not like, oh, well, I have to have this makeup routine every time I do something. It automatically, you know, the first couple of things, it helps you get to do the thing. And then once you've done it a few times, your, you know, natural confidence comes by, you know, essentially
doing it, because it's automatic. It's processable. Like you can get it done.
Exactly. So that's why makeup can be a really, really great tool. So it's just not using it as I don't want this to be misconstrued, it's not using it as a mask. It's not using something to hide behind. It's just using it as a tool and not a crutch, not something you have to rely on. And, you know, I actually make sure, I don't need to now so much, but I remember in the pandemic, well, it's around maybe lockdown, around that time anyway. I just realized maybe being in London, being so busy out all the time, I was always in makeup, and not wearing makeup felt really weird. And I was like, wow. And I felt uncomfortable. And I was like, this isn't right. This isn't, you know, I felt very self-conscious and almost like not confident, because unbeknownst to me, I just got so used to wearing it, and it almost become like a bit of armor, really. So with that, I made a really intentional point of having makeup-free days and facing the world with no makeup on. And you only do it a couple of times, because again, it feels awkward at first, and you do it and you're like, okay, nothing happened to me. Like it was fine.
It feels okay, right? Like you're good. Yeah. And I love that you say, because mine same thing. Like I didn't used to wear a lot of makeup, but I used a lot of like foundation. So very much like NARS in full coverage. And then, you know, the eyeliner, and then the eyebrows, and then the lipstick. And then same as COVID, same thing. I'm just using lighter pieces that just are just not as heavy. So I'll add the lipstick, and maybe I'll do the eyeliner or mascara. If somebody's watching that's new, what would you recommend them in adding in their sort of makeup tool bag? Like they don't usually wear makeup, but they just want to shift that little confidence. What would you tell them to get?
I'd probably say a lippy, because you can have fun with those. You know, you can get different colors, whether it's a pink, whether it's a red, maybe even it's just a tinted gloss to start with, you know, something like that. Again, that's kind of, I don't know, it just comes from more of a kind of a fun place. There's some people that absolutely hate wearing lipstick, and it might be something else. But I think, you know, with mascara, I feel like that's decorating what you have rather than changing what you have, if that makes sense. And I'm all for enhancing what is there. And that's, you know, through the company, especially working with brides, it's, you know, it's what we do. We enhance what is there. We're not trying to change anything. And, you know, I can't remember now if this was on the Instagram Live or this one that we were talking about, how like makeup's just, all the beauty industry's gone a bit kind of nuts, and you know, people changing form, and you know, I remember it sort of happened when Kim Kardashian came out with the contouring, and since
I was just about to say that, but I didn't want to point it out, but I will say that yes, she has changed the whole industry. And at one point where I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was like, everybody just looks the same. Somebody was asked, would you do surgery on your body? Because somebody had like a butt that didn't really look like a butt, and so we went onto this tangent. And I was like, sorry,
what did it look like?
it really looked so fake because her legs were so small, was so thin that the butt was just too big and too bulky on the side to be like it just didn't look natural at all. It looked like a Brazilian sort of butt, but the butt lift wasn't really good. It was yeah, you know, I'm not a surgeon nor a doctor, but it just didn't look right. And so we went up to this thing, and so we're like, would you do something to your face? And I was like, I don't think I would, because if I look at everybody else, everybody looks the same. Or I went to go and see Naomi Campbell, the V&A museum that she has. By the way, it's super small, so beware. I thought it was going to be much bigger. For the price of the ticket, I thought it was going to be more things, but that's just me. But even like her cheeks, like her cheek and her nose, like it just looks so different from what she was younger. And I'm not saying, it's, do whatever you want that builds your confidence. But why did I come onto that? I think with social media, as you were saying, we're just so much into, we want to look like that or to be appreciated. And I think in this conversation right now where you're sharing, it's loving yourself with who you are and the wholeness of you're just as worthy and as awesome, as beautiful as you are today. And it's just the lipstick will just maybe enhance your beauty, but just maybe define a little bit more of you, but it won't change you to somebody else. Which I thought that's beautiful that you said, but I got you onto a tangent with the Kim Kardashians. So.
Yeah. It's cool. But that's when we saw something like these Instagram profiles, everybody just looked the same. And Kim Kardashian didn't bring anything new. The contouring technique is, used to the extremes. It's a drag technique and it's super clever. And that's what I mean by makeup's magic. Like, it's awesome. For performances and, to change bone structures and to create something, but for everyday use, like, no. And so that's why we had, these Instagram profiles of different, I'm like, this is the same girl. I'm like, okay, no, it's not.
No, they just look different.
Lips and, all of this kind of started to happen. So I think the issue is, we started with, Facebook, and then sort of more Instagram. We can't blame Instagram for everything. Now we have TikTok and whatnot, but we are constantly being pulled into this game of comparison with everybody. And it's human nature, because we want to be connected to other people. So we want to fit in, we want to kind of be like them. And I think the difficulty now with the internet is that we are connected to so many people. Like, before, we just had to worry about our immediate kind of people around us geographically. And now it's so much stuff. And that's kind of a lot for us to take on. So I'm a huge advocate, and, I struggle myself as well, particularly with social media, like putting those boundaries in place. But to not look, because on a subconscious level, you kind of get sucked in and your behaviors start changing, your thinking starts changing, the more stuff you look at. So again, becoming aware of what you're looking at is extremely important.
Which brings me to the third, which is, I think, a beautiful transition, is you talked about building confidence with personal image and appearance. How are you doing next? You said you were struggling a little bit with that. And I'm sure, like, I won't lie, I also do have that moment where I have to actually just remove people from my social media, or if I do appreciate who they are, I'll actually mute them. So I'm in the industry of marketing and network marketing. So I only follow a couple of people that are in my niche and have done what I look up to. So I keep them on my feed. But otherwise, if it's not people that have done what I aspire, I don't follow them. I can still check on their page. So that's a way where I can set those boundaries. But what for you, how have you been able to build confidence by, looking at others, but not comparing yourself to, oh, I want to be like them? How are you doing that?
By taking that time out with myself to connect with myself. I think people get I'm binging. I don't even watch TV or hardly any Netflix normally, but I'm binging cult documentaries at the moment. I'm like, the stuff that's going on in America, but it happens here. And, people can get lost when they don't know themselves. And, I think it's really important to connect with yourself on a regular basis, which is why the acts of self-care really work. Journaling, as I said, like processing your thoughts and feelings. So I think that's something that I do often. I spend a lot of time alone, and I carve out that time. I mean, I live alone, so that's kind of helpful in that respect. But that just really allows me to really focus on my strengths and my weaknesses, and also recognize, and this goes for all of us, that, people's like, oh, my weak areas, and, they bash themselves for that, but generally they're connected to your strength. If you didn't have that weakness, you wouldn't have that strength. And so it's really where our focus is going, and our focus should be on the positive, not the negative. And we have that natural negativity bias anyway, to focus on the bad stuff in order to keep us safe. But just focusing on those things really, focusing on everything you have, not everything you haven't got, really helps you to just feel confident about your life.
So that is, now I'm going to be just the advocate of, like, not the devil, but just somebody that just wants to be smart. But how do you do that? Because you said being alone. I mean, I know the answer, but I'm just trying to see, because I know some people will be like, yeah, but that's cool for you, Olivia, because you're always positive. I am not always positive. So now I just want, to have a fist fight. Like, I've been in a boxing ring at times, but I won't. But how do you get to, like, why do you have to be alone? And what does self-care mean? Like, retrieving yourself. How do you do that?
So, do you know, a client asked me, we went for a walk, actually, this was a couple of months ago. And he was like, what do who do you reach out to when you have a problem? Like, who do you talk to? Because that's another issue in this world. We all feel very connected, but all the issues. But no, we do, and we false, like, with our likes and our hearts and all our Facebook connections and whatnot, to feel like we're connected. But actually, who can we reach out to? And I just said, I've got plenty of people I can, but quite often when I start talking about something, I actually make it a bigger problem. Not everything, but I have one thing I always say to myself, that tomorrow is a new day. Because I, like you, everyone says to me, oh my God, you're so positive. And I was like, you have not seen the other side.
You have not seen my whole life, because before I went live, I wanted to cry. I went through this whole meltdown, and I had to call my mom, and she had to pick me up. I don't know if that's your mom also below. Like, I had to call my mom. My mom had to tell me what to do, because I just couldn't put it out. I'm like, dude, it's a show. But yeah, I love the honesty.
But our heads take us to some crazy places. So it can be something like, for example, the live, and it's not about the live. It's about what the live represents, or, something else. It's whatever, the trigger is going on there. Yeah. But the thing is, I always say tomorrow is a new day. And do you know what? It always is. I always feel better. Okay, sometimes things can prolong, but generally speaking, when I'm in, like, there's been days where I'm like, no, not happening. Just shut the laptop down. I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to do anything. I'm not going to get anything done now. And just write off the day. There is no point in me pushing on, because chances are what will take me half an hour in the morning will take me 5 hours now, if at all. And it's just a write-off day. And I want to go and, guzzle a load of kettle chips. Fine. Let me do that. And sometimes those days kind of happen, but they're, few and sort of far between. But just allow yourself to be. I think we hold ourselves back, and then it just makes everything kind of worse. And we're allowed to feel, we're allowed to be up and down. I think that's the other thing as well. Maybe I'm more up and down than most, but I like that, because if I don't go down, I don't get the up. So I enjoy my little roller coaster, and no, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, I think it's the fact of, if somebody's watching here on the replay or that's live, it's the fact of being alone with your thoughts. I think sometimes with social media, everything's going on, there's so much noise that it's easy to have noise, when sometimes it's just, as you said, going to the park or going for a walk all by yourself. Like, I enjoy walks all by myself. Like, I truly do enjoy my own self, like, just like being. Although there's some points where I could make a whole movie, and I'm sure Netflix would probably buy my my idea, because it was so good with so many ins and outs. But I think some of y'all may be too scared of being alone with your own thoughts. And I think that's probably the best way, where you start healing yourself, where you start learning what you like, what you don't. And I know you pointed out at some point, but we go through different seasons of life. Our 20s was different than our 30s. Our 30s is different than our 40s. And we tend to, become much more wiser. We think more. Well, I'm sure Camilla and everybody is tuning on, like, you would tend to, there's more reflection. And I think that comes with experience, but you've got to leave and let some space in between so you can grow. And I love how you said tomorrow is another day. I heard this from Kevin Hart. He says the sun will still rise and the moon will still go down at some point. So the day will always turn. Now it's just like, okay, I wasn't able to do this today, and it's okay to have those days where it's not working. Like, I'm not reaching out to people, I'm not talking to anyone. Understanding what your limits are, like having days where you shut off. And I know we talked about appearance and personal image, but you said boundaries, which we could talk about, is having a day where it's just you. Confidence is built in those silent moments where it's just you.
That might be a lot for some people who aren't used to being on their own. So, as I say with everything, any changes you make, any, lifestyle changes, or always start small and build slowly. And so even just carving out 10 minutes is a bit like meditation, although like you, I still haven't got on that. Yeah, I just struggle to sit still. But, again, just try 1 minute. Just try 1 minute.
Yeah, you could do more 1 minute breathing. I mean, there's breathing techniques with like Wim Hof, or, cold showers if you want to be like my partner, or if you want to be, listen to meditation music, like, or just, sound baths or whatever excites you. It could be just like a 1 minute, but I found that also turning off notifications has been probably the best thing for my social, like just for my peace and my self-care. I don't have my notifications on. So that just like brings, but I love how you say you start small and then you get to see what works for you.
And build slowly. Yeah. And I always say, set a little challenge for like 7 days. So whether it's, trying to claim back your sleep routine or put some order with it, whether it's, going to doing 3 workouts, a week or something, or nutrition wise, or whatever, any of these things, like the everyday things, just set yourself a target to do it for 7 days and then decide. Because when you say, right, this is me now, and I'm a new, healthier person, when does it end? Like it's too much. So if you just do it slowly, and also you find out what works for you. And, back on the like sleeping thing, it's always great to have some sort of bedtime routine that winds you down, and some sort of morning routine that pumps you up. But you might find that actually those timings don't work for you. And so, because we're not all wired the same, some people are actually creative in the evening. They have energy in the evening. I'm not one of those people. So, I really struggle when people, particularly like work stuff, if it's like networking events in the evening, I'm like, that's my wind down time. And it mucks me up the next day because I'm up at that time. So I'm, careful with that. Don't get me wrong. I love going out, like maybe sort of on the weekend, or make, Thursday or Friday or stuff. But if there's generally those sort of things going, I just won't do them because it messes my routine. And my routine is so important, as is all of our routine to us, because it's what grounds us. I always say it's the glue that holds us together. Because when your sleep routine's disrupted, like you're crabby, you just can't like focus properly, or
you're like a child. You need to eat at a certain time, you need to work out at a certain time. So it completely does it makes sense. Like if I don't have a routine now, you can't alter in between to add some spice in your life, like going to an event, or as you said, maybe going out for one evening and then going back. I always say I love your 7 days idea. I also say this is more of a deeper challenge, but once you've done the 7-day, do like 3 months. I mean, for me, I like numbers, 60 days, 90 days, and then see if you like that routine to hold yourself accountable, or if you want to do 75, whatever, it doesn't really matter. But doing those things where you're just like, okay, I could do those 7, and can I keep myself smallly accountable of maybe, a certain time going to bed, as you said, or doing that small daily routine and just sticking to that, because you get to practice, that muscle. Which brings me nicely to the other side of what we talked about, which was routine, but consistency. What do you have to say about consistency? Because that's a word that a lot of people use now.
It doesn't sound sexy, but it makes time for the sexy stuff, So being consistent with our things and ourselves. So our bodies and minds love consistency. Oh, darkness.
I know, right? Like, no, phone is like, the light is like, no, go home.
You're done now, out. So our bodies and minds love consistency because they feel safe and secure when we are being consistent with our basic needs and when we know what's coming. And that's what consistency provides. And so at a basic kind of human need level, with nutrition, with sleep, with hydration, like water, all of that, when we're consistent with those things, it actually frees up a lot of time and energy to focus on the other stuff, which, you know, might be our work, our friends, our family, kind of all of those things. So it's really, really important, because when we're not, you know, we might be drinking loads of water because we're having a really good like health day or health week, and then we're forgetting to drink water because we're busy. Everything's all over the place. This throws us out of whack, and it actually puts our state of mind into, you know, this kind of fight or flight response. Also our bodies as well. So for example, if you're drinking, you know, if you're drinking lots of water, your body knows water's coming, so it releases water. When you then don't drink water, it panics and it holds on to all the water, so we get bloated and puffy. So this is why I always talk in terms of skincare from a makeup point of view. Actually, there's so much, it's done from the inside out. Not, yes, there's wonderful lotions and potions that feel really good and are really nice for your skin, but really it's, you know, drinking lots of water and eating the right things. So that's really important in terms of our confidence, and also to tap into kind of our higher thinking. Because as I said, we're in that fight or flight, you know, mode, as it were, or freeze, fight, flight, freeze. Our brain, kind of top part of our brain shuts down, and we're just kind of in the moment, sort of in this panic moment. And that's really heavy on our nervous system as well, and causes kind of lots of problems. So just being consistent with our basic needs really helps us to combat everything else in life and everything that life throws at us, because let's face it, life is knocking stuff all the time at us, and it just puts us in a much more secure and grounded and calm place to deal with that. Again, you know, with nutrition and food, you know, making sure our nutrition is balanced, it balances our hormones, you know, and that's really important. And how we respond to things. Sometimes if we're not responding well to stuff, or we're flying off the handle, or, you know, brain fog and things, it's like, just come back to the basic stuff and pay attention there. And it's really, really important. And so just remembering that, you know, as much predictability in our life we can create, the better, because life is so unpredictable outside of us. And so it comes back to, you know, that thing that we all say, that we struggle to do, but it's only focus on what you can control. Put your focus there. And that gives us a sense of control, you know, recognizing we do have things, but there's so much stuff we don't have control over.
Yeah.
You know, people waste so much energy complaining and whining about that, instead of just focusing on what they can do. And then actually it just makes the other stuff not matter, because you're in a better place physically and mentally to deal with that.
Yeah, I love what you say about keeping the things that you can focus on and control, which is your body, your mind, and your soul. So, you know, taking care of your mind by understanding like water, you know, the intake of water, to understanding what your body likes. Like, you know, maybe your body doesn't like meat, but it prefers salmon. So, you know, maybe go more from salmon or grain foods or whatever. But understanding that your body is fueled by how you feel. I mean, my mom could go over and talk about it for years because she's a hormonal expert. But you know, there's certain foods when we're in our period that we just can't really eat because it just makes us more bloated. So understanding that when you're in there, you probably need more magnesium or zinc, you know, things that will just fuel you the right way. And I was talking to my sister, you know, about, you know, she's on her weight loss journey. It's like, instead of, you know, having just rice, like you could maybe have like sweet potato, or understanding, you know, having maybe more meats and vegetables instead of, you know, pasta that you've always had, because it was always part of the same meal. So yeah, it's as I said, and you said, consistency is probably the most, and I agree, it's not the sexiest word on the planet. When we hear it, it just feels disgusting. But it leaves room to things that we like doing, right? Because by you being consistent, you now find the time for things that make you align and that you love. You know, taking your dogs on a walk is probably not cool, but by you doing in the morning, it sets your steps. And so you feel good. Your body feels good. Your whole mind feels good. And automatically it has a whole productivity onto everything else throughout the whole day. You know, I do work out every single day. I only have one day of rest, but I like my routine. When I wake up in the morning, I tend to read like a verse of the Bible. Then I go to CrossFit. Then I take my supplements. Like it's small steps that make me really good, and I feel good at the end. Doesn't mean that I'm not exhausted in some certain way, but I feel revived. And I think that's part of the consistency and the routine is what makes you excited about the transformation of you looking good and feeling good.
Yeah, absolutely. And working out what that is and what is going to make you look good and feel good, and writing those specific things down. So if it's getting to sleep on time, okay, or it's going to the gym or doing those things, write a list. And so a bit like you have your Bible, check, gym, check, supplements, check. And we love checking things because, again, we feel like progress, like we all want to be making progress. And some days you feel like you're going backwards, never mind staying still, and that that can be hard. We all have those days, but having a little task list and just a little checklist, as it were, to work through, already that's a win. That's a win in the morning. And when you feel that, you then create energy for the next thing. And so that's why it's really good, obviously, being consistent with things, but also setting targets. They don't have to be massive targets, but just writing stuff down and being able to go, yeah, I did that. Okay, cool. That it's been a productive day. And some days are productive and some days aren't. But if it's all up here and not kind of written down, or you haven't sort of figured out what you need to get to where you're going, then you can fall off track so easily, and kind of get lost with it. So even just a couple of things, and again, start small, build slow. Just start with one thing and adopting that into your daily routine, because also then once you see the benefits, or rather once you feel the benefits, you don't have to work at it anymore, right? No one has to force you to go to CrossFit or take the supplements or read the Bible, because it feels good and you feel great after it. And I'm sure, have there been days that you haven't done those things? Like, how's your productivity gone for the rest of the day, or how's your mood been?
No, I mean, I will always pull myself out to go CrossFit, but I'll probably haven't read the Bible or something. The supplements, I always take them, but it's like, just like one step that doesn't go, and you're like, I know what was missing. That's how I wasn't, it's like having a shower, it's like you tend to be like, I didn't put any deodorant on. Like, that's why I smell. Like, it's just those small little shifts. But I also love that. Yeah. Now I get it. Like, why nobody wanted to sit next to me.
But, that's a good thing. It's like, right? That's space. How you get personal space.
I don't have anybody around me. But I also love how you said the fact that it's also those things where you write them down, where in your mind, because sometimes it's like even seeing the transformation, you don't see your transformation of your body if you don't take pictures, right? Now, I'm not saying to take pictures of like where you were before, but understanding that maybe writing those 3 things down, because there's so much in our brain. I feel that, well, I know, Camilla, I know for myself, I am. So I don't know if you are, Camilla, and everybody watching, but like so much in my brain that if I just write down and say, hey, I did this, and I did this, I won, out of not showing up. Because your brain is like, she did this. Okay, that's cool. I got that call. Okay, I got that client, just shift everything. It's not necessarily a to-do list, but it's just writing down 3 things, or 5 points. I always say 3 because it's like 3 little pigs, 3 little mice, same thing. But writing that down where you're like, okay, what did I do good today? Did I talk to someone? Did I give them joy? Did whatever my routine was to build my confidence? I signed up to the gym. Now tomorrow I need to make the decision to go, which I do like, because it's not something that we tend to do. But if you do it now, I kid you not, in a year, if you stick to that small little shift that you made, that Camilla has shared today, or anything that you've shifted, and you're like, in a year, you'll probably be super proud of yourself. So yeah, I love that you shared that. Is there anything that you want to add in terms of consistency and routine? Because we talked earlier about challenges, but I don't know if you wanted to add anything else.
Yeah, well, making a challenge part of your consistent routine, I think, is super important to do. So challenges are just, again, this could be a challenge in itself, creating consistency at some area in your life. And it's it's really good to do things that we wouldn't normally do, because that builds our confidence. Again, it stretches out the comfort zone, and the more we do it, we build the confidence. We're just proving to ourselves that we are capable, and we are capable of growth, and we are growing. So that's that's a massive thing. I'm a big fan of challenges. And then the great thing is about challenging yourself in one area of life, like your personal life, be it a fitness challenge, be it a, I don't know, some sort of other challenge, a personal challenge of, reading a number of books or something, or, whatever. You can transfer it to work. So it builds confidence within you to take more opportunities at work, and vice versa as well. If you get given a project that you weren't quite ready to do, but you just got to get with it at work, and then you remember that in your personal life. Say someone says, "Hey, do you want to run a half marathon with me?" And you're like, "I can't possibly." And then you're like, "Actually, do you remember that time at work when I was just like, there was no way I could do this, but I had to do it, and I did it. So maybe I can do this."
Maybe I can if I apply, and if we look at it, if you keep on doing, I believe that this is how life should be. It's series of challenges that just grow and outgrow you into being the better version of you, because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know, me doing CrossFit, I'll always give the example, but I didn't think I could do it because it was just it was so insane. But because I'd done athletics before and I'd done rugby, I wanted something that was different. I wasn't good at it at first, but then I got better. Just like you and I going live, we weren't good at it when we started initially, but we got better at our craft. And then today it gets us doing a live together. But had you asked me 10 years ago, Olivia, you're going to be on social media and you're going to inspire other people and you're going to talk, absolutely not. I didn't even want to talk to a fly. A fly can even directions never would happen, right? So but it just gets you out of your comfort zone. And if you can hear one thing out of this message, it would be to take opportunities in being the better version of you. Because the confidence, you can definitely build it. It requires understanding the self-care routine that we talked today, to, your makeup routine, changing that lippy, which I absolutely love. Just, you don't have much in your makeup game, but you can just add a lipstick. There's so many different brands that, do awesome lipstick and they stay super long. But also understanding that your personal image will have to alter, maybe getting a new haircut. I know we didn't really talk about colors on that, but we could do a part 2 on how to change your appearance. But maybe that perfume that could change, and understanding that every single day is a challenge, but you can control what you can, which is important, and not focus on what you can't. Yes, our life, for example, my light is not working. I cannot control that. It's annoying, but will it bother me in 5 years? Which is a sentence that I don't know if you said, but if something comes up to me and it bothers me, I always had this from my mentor, Fraser Brooks, and he always said, will it matter in 5 years? If it won't, move on. If it will, okay. But generally, the matter of the issue won't matter in 5 years because it's not that deep. As another friend would say, it's not that deep. So understanding what you can focus on, and the more you focus on you, the better you become at understanding that some things are attacked to you. But since you know what you can focus on, the rest doesn't really matter at some point. So, yeah, I've loved this conversation, girl. I'm going to see if the light comes on, but thank you so much. Is there anything you wanted to add?
I could be here adding things all evening.
I could probably, we could do a podcast 24 hours, a 24-hour challenge, a live challenge, and just keep on talking. Honestly, I think we should probably do that. People be like, I'm sick. No, you're not sick of us. We just have so much to share. We could definitely share from our beauty and fashion industry. Camilla, I'm going to put all the links, but where can people best find you?
Best find me. Where I hang out most is Instagram. So I'm at Camilla J. Collins on Instagram. Although still trying to put my boundaries in place, and it's summertime at the moment, so I'm really trying to just revel in real life and situations more so than social. But yeah, I'm absolutely on there. So but otherwise, CamillaCollins.com is my website. We've got some freebies on there as well. Time productivity hacks, confidence building ebook, and a self-sabotage masterclass, or overcoming self-sabotage. We don't want more self-sabotage.
No, we want to overcome it. So yes. Okay, cool. Love that. You're going to send me everything so then I can put it in the show notes.
Perfect. It's been awesome. Thank you so much for having me and for the chat. And I'm going to be.
Thank you so much. Thank you for adapting.
Sleep tonight, as I know now, thinking about our 24-hour podcast.
That's the thing, is when I get hyped up, that same thing, it's 9, but I've had some my drink, and I probably shouldn't have had it late at night. But yeah, I'll probably be up. So hey, at least it's two productive top performers, so we can do some brainstorming. Camilla, thank you so much, guys. If you have not done so, I'll put all the links. Thank you for being patient with us and showing up. But yeah, thank you so much. Love. Have a great evening. Talk to you later.
And you. Speak to you soon.
Thank
Bye, guys.
you. Bye.